What's good everybody, this is CP and welcome back to my NBA Fantasy series. Today let's talk about 5 potential sleepers and breakout players at the point guard position. In my opinion, these players have a great chance to outplay their draft positions in 2019-2020 and can make your fantasy teams that much better to win it all. So let's not waste any more time and 走起吧. Despite coming off the bench last season and being the 8th most used player in the lineup, Rozier still managed to average around 9 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and close to 1 steal for the Boston Celtics. Fantasy-wise, Boston never really gave him the opportunity to break out, but heading into this season, Rozier is definitely a breakout candidate. After signing a $58 million deal with the Hornets in the summer, it looks like Rozier will definitely be one of the main guys in Charlotte. He doesn't seem to have much competition at the guard positions and should see a huge bump in usage rate. As a starter, he averaged closer to 13 points, 5 boards, 5 dimes, and 1.7 steals. If you add that to his per 36-minute stats, it is very likely that we will see him set new career highs across the board. Realistically speaking, as a starter, I can't see him putting up Damian Lillard or Kyrie Irving-like numbers, but I can still see him average around 15 points, 5 assists, 6 rebounds, and around 1.5 steals per game. In most standard 12-team leagues, he would be a very decent pickup if you are able to get him in the mid to late rounds. DeLon Wright might be another sneaky sleeper to have on your target list on draft day. In his 4.5 seasons with the Raptors, Wright only started in 20 games. Despite his limited playing time, his fantasy stats were pretty efficient, especially if you look at his per 36 minutes production. He averaged close to 14 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and close to 1 steal per game. After getting traded to Memphis last season, we saw him set new career highs in points, assists, steals, rebounds, and blocks. Heading into 2019-2020, Wright looks like he will be penciled in as the Dallas Mavericks starting point guard. This should guarantee him around 25 to 30 minutes a night. If he is able to stick in the starting rotation and see quality minutes with Doncic and Porzingis, there is potential for him to have a huge breakout season. Malcolm Brogdon started in 64 games for the Bucks last season and averaged around 16 points, 5 boards, and 3 dimes per game. Those stats may not be elite, but we can't forget that he played on a pretty stacked Milwaukee Bucks team and was only the 4th highest player in usage rate. In many ways, I don't think he was able to reach his full potential in Milwaukee, especially playing behind the likes of Giannis, Bledsoe, and Chris Middleton. But his offseason move to Indiana gives him every opportunity to be a fantasy breakout star this season. With Darren Collison retiring and Brogdon signing a 4-year $86 million deal, it looks like Brogdon will be the Pacers' new starting point guard going forward. With the opportunity to be the number 1 or 2 options on most nights, I could see him averaging around 20 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 steal per night. If everything pans out for Brogdon, I could see him finishing the year as a top 50 to top 70 fantasy player. So if Brogdon is available in the later rounds, he is a very decent option to pick up at the point guard position. Dennis Smith Jr. is another point guard who might be a good late pickup in most drafts. With Luka Doncic taking over, his time in Dallas didn't end well, but after getting traded to the New York Knicks, we saw a nice bump in his fantasy stats. His points per game increased from around 12.9 to 14.7 points, and he was also averaging a career high in assists and steals as well. Smith's shooting and efficiency is obviously the biggest concern, but apparently DSJ has been working really hard to improve his shot this summer. If the hard work pays off, we might be able to see a huge increase in his scoring, which simply means a huge increase in his fantasy value as well. If you look at the Knicks rotation right now, his minutes should be safe. He should see a pretty high usage rate along with the good Canadian boy RJ Barrett. With so many big-name fantasy point guards in the game, I can't see Smith Jr. going early in most leagues. But with decent minutes, usage rate, and potential to improve, I wouldn't mind risking a late flyer on him. DeJounte Murray is one of my top breakout candidates this year. Last season was supposed to be his year, but after suffering an ACL injury in preseason, Murray missed the entire season. As a result, players like Derek White and Bryn Forbes took full advantage of his minutes. But heading into 2019-2020, I expect Murray to be the Spurs starting point guard. San Antonio seems to be very high on him and loves Murray's lockdown ability on defense. When push comes to shove, Murray's defense alone should keep him on the floor for decent minutes. But there is a good chance that the Spurs will use this season to build the team around Murray. And if he can stay healthy, I think he is one of the best all-around point guards to target. I expect Murray to average around 12 to 14 points a game along with 5 assists. And most importantly, put up above average stats in boards, steals, and blocks for a point guard. If all goes well this season, I think he can be one of the biggest risers in fantasy basketball this year. What's good, everybody? This is CP and I have some very exciting news to announce today. So basically, for this fantasy season, I've decided to step things up a bit and will be hosting my very own competitive 12-team head-to-head money league, where I'll be competing with 11 of my subscribers for cash prizes. I plan to reward the top 3 finishers with cash prizes. On top of that, the first place winner will be receiving a very special gift delivered from me. To find out how you can qualify for this league and win some money, check out the link below. Don't wait, because once the spots fill up, I'll be locking up the league until the season starts. I hope to see some of you there and I can't wait for the season to start. 走起吧!